We'll get you to the hoop all night long here on ESPN. Akron wearing the home whites tonight. So Garvin Clark, the freshman out of Euclid, been playing. Jackie, we've been talking about him the last couple. Played very, very well. Starting to get more minutes. And John Gross rewarding him with a start tonight. This is Michael Dawson. It's going to be a blocking foul called by referee Edwin Young. Jackie, what about our keys to this one tonight as the Zips try to finish off the regular season with a win?
Really important for Central Michigan to start fast. You mentioned it. They play well on the road. It's going to be important for them here today, as well as defense to offense. Getting stops, collecting the basketball, and then going in transition for Akron. They've got to win the glass. That was a deficit that they had up at Mount Pleasant, and then they need to play inside out. We got that first look. Dawson attacking the interior and drawing the contact.
Michael Dawson comes in averaging just under 6 points per game. He's getting his sixth start of the year. But Dawson just misfired on a pair from the free throw line. And the basketball belongs to Central Michigan. 60-56, Jackie, back on January 25th, the Akron win. They shot the ball real well against the Central Michigan defense at 47% in that win. And as we know, the biggest thing about the Zips is they won 4 in a row, and that's going to be an offensive foul as Harrison Henderson, the 6'11" big, the graduate student, got hit with that whistle on Central Michigan.
Just trying to get position there on the low side. You could see Freeman trying to go over the top and just an arm of displacement, but that's a dead ball. Turnover. You're going to see Central Michigan now a little token pressure here. They're going to go back into a 2-3 zone.
We'll see how the Zips go after this 2-3 zone. You know they like to get the basketball to Enrique Freeman, and Ali firing that triple and lacing it from deep. Xavier Castaneda. Castaneda comes in, Jackie, shooting 38% from 3 on the year.
And he played really well. Led all Akron scores the last time these two teams met, so you know he's comfortable. You're going to see Akron now with the trap extended.
The basketball knocked out of bounds by Michael Dawson, so it'll stay with the Central Michigan Chips. Central Michigan comes in here averaging about 66 points a game. Kevin Miller, who averages 13 a game, leads them. Now that bounce pass inside again to Henderson, but he didn't get that to go.
You know, Freeman again in the inside just does a good job of being physical. We know he's athletic, but a good job of holding position there, not allowing the drop step and score to the rim, but forced away from the basket.
Tony Barbie's got a quick move as he's got Nicholas Pavretti. The youngster in. Castaneda had another good look at a triple, and that's boarded by Cameron Healy of Central Michigan. Healy averages 12 points a game, and he and Kevin Miller, who's running the show here, the two leading scorers on Tony Barbie, their head coach's Chippewa squad. Taylor's going to unload. That 3 is off the mark. Akron will head to the offensive end. Of course, the next one, they want to get it in the win column, Jackie, because the next one will be next Thursday in downtown Cleveland, where the Zips will either be the 4 or the 5 seed in the MAC tournament. We'll discuss that more tonight. Freeman with strength, threw it over the hoop.
Yeah, really not a good angle there to try to face up and finish. Nice job defensively. Going straight up and contesting.
Yeah, Nicholas Pavretti, the young man we mentioned, just a freshman. You see him with a basketball here. Only about 210 pounds, so got to fill out some, of course. This is Miller. Miller trying to step through a seam. That long-range 3 from Healy didn't go. Bodies on the deck as Castaneda will head to the offensive end for the Zips. Ali gave it up, and firing that triple was Garvin Clark. It didn't drop, and that's going to be a push off on Michael Dawson, trying to go gather that missed 3 from Clark.
Yeah, really good ball movement there. Ali obviously has been scoring the ball well, but made that extra pass, and Dawson on the weak side. What a tremendous the second half of the season he has.
Yeah.
Brought a lot of a spark and energy, but a little too much contact there. 2 hands in the back trying to go collect an offensive rebound.
Miller on that quick jumper from that foul line left. That didn't go, so Central Michigan starts out tonight not able to find the mark as Xavier Castaneda will drain that triple. Castaneda's hit a couple of trays, and the Zips are up early, 6-0.
You know, it's always interesting when you see players that have success against certain matchups and certain teams, and Castaneda just kind of has that look about him. Again, played really well with 6 of 10 from the floor in their first matchup, and playing with a lot of confidence here early.
Yeah, hit a couple of threes in Mount Pleasant. Already hit a pair of threes in the first 4 minutes.
Against Kent State, they've got the 2-point loss to Toledo. So you're talking about teams at the top echelon of the conference that they are competing with.
Yeah, Michael Wynn checking in for John Gross, and he tried to put the body onto Harrison Henderson, the 6'11" forward of Central Michigan. Got whistled for that foul, so that's a second team foul here on Akron. As we are 4 minutes and some change into it. Great to have you along on this final night of the regular season before MAC tournament play begins next week in downtown Cleveland. Henderson off the step through, and he's going to get to the free throw line as that reach-in foul is going to go on Michael Wynn. So Wynn, who is starting to get more playing time for John Gross. Jackie has picked up 2 quick fouls.
Yeah, he got in foul trouble last home game as well, and just a little too active, but really good footwork here by Henderson on the step through. Good balance, got the defense to overcommit. The step through with power and draws contact.
A game like this, final game of the regular season, as we said, you know, obviously you want to, and the Zips do have a chance to enhance their seeding. They could be the 4 seed next week, but kids, players know the tournament's coming up, Jackie, a week away. I mean, how tough is this one maybe for preparation and getting ready and just everything before a tournament begins?
You know, I think players, you know, you want to be feeling good, right? You want to be playing your best basketball. Coaches say that all the time, but players do too. You know, you want to go in, good catch and head fake there to get the defense to bite, but you want to be finding that zone and continuing with continuity, and good dump pass there and the head fake. Really good action on the inside there. Attacking that interior, that's got to be something that the Zips continue to lean on, both today as well as up in Cleveland.
And Greg Tribble, of course, done an excellent job slashing with the basketball and being a distributor. Right now, Aziz Bandago, the 7-footer from Senegal, has checked in. Tribble slashing to the rim. Bandago had a hand on it, but wasn't able to keep it away from Kevin Miller. So Central Michigan will push. Terrific pass that found a flying Ralph Bissath, and Bissath rocked it home.
Yeah, that's the defense to offense that we were talking about. Just a nice job there, forcing the errant pass, and that's transition textbook offense right there. Pass it up ahead. You don't need a lot of dribbles to get the ball up. Pass it ahead and beat the defense up the floor.
Castaneda was looking to drain his 3rd 3 here in the early going. Left it on the front of the rim. So now Kevin Miller will work against this Akron defensive look. Zips have gone zone. They've been man already here, and in these exchanging defensive looks. Shot clock now at 5. This is Healy. Shot clock at 1. They didn't recognize it. Good defense, huh? Akron there as they got the shot clock violation on Central Michigan.
Well, this has really been the staple of John Gross's, you know, tenure. And we talk about it a lot, but it's worth discussing. Defense and the passion that he brings to the team, and the passion at the defensive end of the floor that he commands of his basketball team. And they are really playing well, moving well. They've only given up 2 field goals here in the first 5.5 minutes of action, and caused a few turnovers, 2 of them.
Central Michigan at just 20%. Miller had a hand on it. Wasn't able to save on that sideline in front of the Central Michigan bench.
As we've kind of seen the ups and downs at times at the offensive end for Akron, the the consistent and constant factor has to be at the defensive end of the floor. And if they can play that hard and that crisp at that end of the floor, then they've really going to put themselves in a position to have some success in Cleveland.
Well, Tony Miller reaching in, and Kevin Miller rather, excuse me, reaching in, got hit for that foul. As the officiating trio tonight, good one from the MAC, Edwin Young, John Floyd, and Greg Lansdorf. Three gentlemen that we see quite a bit officiating here in the Mid-American Conference. Shot clock will hit 10. This is Tribble. Tribble got in the paint. Ali. Clark to raise up. No, missed it. And that's a shot clock violation. Right now, Jackie, this would have started. The Zips have been playing well on the offensive end, but this one starts tonight and somewhat disjointed for John Gross's group.
Yeah, well, they're going against this matchup. So I like how they're attacking and getting into the inside. It's just figuring out what to do once you get past that initial line of defense, because is it stopping and popping with that mid-range jump shot, or is it making that little dump pass? And I think Clark just got caught in a little bit of a gray area and rushed his look.
Henderson back down Bandego and got that to fall. Henderson, he averages 10.5 points a game and shoots a little bit less than 40% though. Most of his work coming, like you just saw there, on the blocks and around the rim. Ali, good look to Bandego, who dropped it in the cup.
Yeah, he paused for a second there, and he's going to be a guy that's going to realize he does not need to pause at all, because he's going to be able to elevate over anybody in the league. He's continuing to, show that toughness and get that upper body strength, but a good catch and finish.
Well, Henderson firing up that three. Dawson wanted to go in a hurry. Central Michigan got back transition defense. Bandego keeping the ball high, as Jackie mentioned before he put it down. But Jackie, that off arm, he got hit with the displacement and an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's a foul you're going to take, because this is, again, continuing to see his growth. Plays through the double team, being physical, but then right there, he didn't need it. He's got that long reach, just go up over that left shoulder with the right hand and finish.
So the Zips lead stays at a couple at 8-6. Almost 8 minutes in, so both teams off to a rather slow start. On the offensive side of things here tonight in Rhodes Arena. Miller looked down at Henderson on that block, being checked by Enrique Freeman. Miller will launch and lace that three to give Central Michigan the lead.
Well, they're shooting it well from long range now. 3 of 6. 10 of their shots so far, and 6 of them have been from behind the arc.
Rhodes Arena crowd trying to bring the "Let's Go Zips" chant to get Akron energized here at the offensive end. Ali. Castaneda to triple. And
to the defensive end of the floor. They made some changes in their lineup with player personnel. They go on the road to Western Michigan.
Yeah, count that jumper by Xavier Castaneda as he fired it and took the hit as he delivered that jumper. So Castaneda really the only Zip off to the strong start.
Yeah, and this is, again, what we're talking about here, right? They go on the road at Eastern Michigan. They start to find this rhythm, a rhythm just like we're seeing out of Castaneda. He's 3 of 6 from the floor, scoring the basketball, has 8 of Akron's 10 here in the first 8.5 minutes.
Yep, and looking for 11 from the line as you get a look at the 6-foot junior. Xavier Castaneda, that kicked out on him. Castaneda came into tonight averaging just a shade under 13 points per game, and the best of the Akron percentage shooters from deep from 3, 38% from 3, and helping that out tonight. Bissath to fire a triple and book that.
Yeah, really good job there by Central Michigan, taking advantage. They went with the ball screen and stayed a lot longer on that double team, and just good job of rotating the basketball and making that extra pass to find a pocket in the zone.
Bissath shoots about 35% from 3. Ali left that short. Central Michigan in a hurry and up by a couple. Bissath again. That was halfway down and then curled out. Castaneda will push. Great look from Ali. Ali to Enrique Freeman. That's with some strength, because the big fella, Pavretti, had a piece of that for Central Michigan to tie it at 12. So Enrique Freeman bringing some hustle and muscle to the Akron offensive attack. Now forcing up that jumper that's right there for Dylan Juergens. Juergens has just come off the bench of Tony Barbie. And Juergens is a 6-foot sophomore out of the state of Michigan. Dawson had to give it up. Castaneda off the step back. That's a deep 2. So Xavier Castaneda's feeling it tonight, Jackie, as he is looking for that shot and delivering.
Yeah, I was going to say, he feels like that rim's about 3 times the size that it is right now. He's doing a really good job. The step back, good balance, and his release is quick. Off to a solid start here.
Has 10 of the Akron 14. Kevin Miller will force that jumper and got the kind roll.
Yeah, delicate touch there. I think he thought he might have gotten fouled, but a good job of splitting the defense. Akron needing to sit down and really guard the basketball, as Central Michigan is having some success off the dribble, getting closer to the rim.
Well, Freeman found Ali. Ali going to the hole. Nice maneuver from Ali. Went left hand off the window.
Well, Freeman returning the favor, right? Ali finds Freeman. Now Freeman finding Ali. They've got a great connection on the inside.
Enrique Freeman will pull that board away from Nicholas Pavretti. Well, that's a long-range triple that wouldn't go down for Ali. Akron firing a lot from distance here in the early go. In this 16-16 tie as we approach the 8-minute mark, first half. Kevin Miller took a quick look in the paint. Taylor's jumper didn't go. Akron with a chance to reclaim the lead here at the offensive end. Dawson, deep triple. That's way off. Missed it wide right.
Got some tired bodies here on the floor, as we've seen Central Michigan really attack and transition. Off that miss, though, unable to get going and get ahead of the Akron defense. A couple guys walking up the floor, but you can see several bodies ready to check in.
Bissath had to pick it up. I think that's going to be stepping on the bench. Zips were credited with, I think it was one of Castaneda's last shot attempts. It's been looked at as a 2-point field goal make. So hence we are at 16 apiece. Tribble. Greg Tribble with strength got it up in the window, but didn't get it to fall. Central Michigan with numbers. Kevin Miller will make that cross-court pass, but firing up that 3 that missed it all was Jack Webb, the freshman guard. Webb got his hand on that, so Jack Webb checking in. This is a lot of youngsters on this Central Michigan roster for head coach Tony Barbie.
A young team, but again, they've come away with some losses here as of late. We talked about that already, but they're out here competing, and they do play incredibly well on the road, and that's a sign of a young team that really doesn't know any better, right? We take advantage when you're at home and on your floor, and that's going to be a 3rd foul.
Well, Michael Wynn just got hit with the offensive foul as official Edwin Young made that call from over on the other side of the floor. And offensively, Akron's got to find a way, Jackie, because right now they're not handling the zone well at all.
Yeah, they put Ali in the middle and at the top, which I like. And I think if they spread out then in the corners, they're a little bit tight right now, and they're working that triangle. It's tight and it's in the paint. You need a little bit more space for Ali to be able to get creative, attack seams, and play some one-on-one matchups.
We've seen a few nights before this year as trying to turn that corner again was Kevin Miller. And that is going to be an offensive foul on Miller. So we have seen, I think I got 5 now, that both ways, offensive fouls, players using their off arm to try to create space.
They are, and it's these guards that are just trying to get enough space to be able to get shots off. And when it's an offensive, I don't want to say struggle, but when you're really grinding to try and create an opportunity and you just need a little bit of room to be able to set up and get shots off, there you got that one-on-one matchup.
Ali with that size advantage, but that jumper's too strong. Got what you wanted.
That's a good look, and that's only his 4th shot attempt here in the basketball game. We're like to continue to see him get touches and get opportunities.
Zips just 7 of 18 for 39%. This is Kevin Miller who gave it up. Brian Taylor averages 8 a game. Miller will back out of there. Shot clock at 5. Miller's got to unload and went glass to knock it out and put Central Michigan on top again.
A really good move there. Recognized the switch, and he had a little bit of space. That's a challenging shot. Fading to his right and headed to the corner, but a good use of the glass.
So Xavier Castaneda now looking for that high screen from Aziz Bandego. Ali wanted to go to Bandego and had it slapped away. And again, Jackie, how many times have we seen attempted entry passes by the Zips not get to the intended target tonight?
Yeah, really good movement and ball pressure by Central Michigan. They're being a little bit proactive and getting in gaps instead of being reactive once the ball has been moved.
Greg Tribble to play it in, 13 on the shot clock, and that's going to be a Central Michigan foul on a hold. I think they got Kevin Miller, the freshman point guard. Is that 3 already on Miller? I think it is. Yeah, that's his 3rd foul. So Miller, who has given them 7 points, is going to have to sit down for a while now with 3 fouls here in the first half.
This is going to be his first rest as well. He's had the ball in his hands an awful lot, being the facilitator at the offensive end of the floor. So it will be an interesting stretch here as Central Michigan is forced to play without him for the remainder here. 5.5. Yeah,
this team foul as well, number 8 on Central Michigan. So Akron in the 1 in bonus. Trying to get even here again at 18 on this Ali, although he wasn't able to do it, so he splits a pair. Akron from the free throw line tonight. Just 2 of 6 from the stripe. An entry pass found Webb. Now Taylor's going to raise up and miss the 3. Castaneda will come away with it, looking to give the Akron Zips a lead again. Well, Dawson thought about squeezing that off. Castaneda to raise up at front rim, the 3. Central Michigan in a hurry. Taylor. Henderson to fire the triple. That's off the mark. And that basketball went off the upper body of Jack Webb of Central Michigan, so it'll go back to Akron.
Well, it all started too. Really good ball fake to get that offensive look. When you've got a defense that's over pursuing, would even like to see Akron a little bit instead of telegraphing these passes and staring them down. Give a look away, give a ball fake. Any defense that wants to over rotate or over pursue, force them to pay the price a little bit by going with some misdirection.
Yeah, we'll see if that becomes part of the Akron arsenal. Ali sizing up the triple and sticking that 3.
Yeah, really good action there in the half court. Good ball movement, got everybody committed to the right side, and Ali comes off that weak side block, sets it up and hits a big basket.
So the Zips just 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. Of course, Xavier Castaneda had hit a pair early. Akron by a deuce. We approach the 4-minute mark. Heading to the hole and rocking that rim. I know John Gross did not like that. Brian Taylor just went from top to bottom without resistance.
Yeah,
Jackie.
there were a couple breakdowns on that possession. On-ball defense got very stagnant. It took one simple move to get by, and then nobody on the weak side. Rotation. Too easy of a take there.
We're tied at 20. Castaneda crossed over, got in the paint, and that short jumper, and ring that baby up.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to stop him when he's got action like that. Can stop on a dime, and then he's got the little bit of a fadeaway to create space.
He went right after the 6'4" freshman. Bandego with the rejection, is trying to go to the hole strong, was Ralph Bissath of Central Michigan. Akron by 2. Bandego career at Notre Dame. So good to have Jerry Faust inside Rhodes Arena tonight. Akron by 2 and looking to extend the lead. Garvin Clark back on the floor now. This is Ali. Shot clock at 5. Another turnover on Akron, and Ali's pass sailed out of bounds. And the Zips have turned it over for the 5th time here in the first half. Not terrible numbers-wise, Jackie. It's not that it's 5. It's just that, you know, offensively, as we've said, it's kind of been a thrash for Akron here in the first 18 minutes.
Yeah, and some of it is just, you know, that's a good look and a good read. They're just, you know, not as sharp, not as crisp on the delivery. And, you know, there's not much room when you get to this point of the season for mistakes and errors that are unforced. And that certainly was one there for the Zips.
This is Henderson with that left-handed jump hook for the Central Michigan tie. Henderson's had a strong first half off the block.
He's got
chips.
Yeah, he really has. He's got a nice balance between athleticism and physicality, and he did a good job there establishing, elevating, and finishing with his left.
Akron attacked the zone once again, but shots just not going down. Akron had about 37% here in the first half. Shot-wise, Central Michigan at 43%. And we've seen the Zips, a lot of time, night shots don't go down. They really clamp things down on the defensive end of the floor and find a way to win. And it looks like Greg Triple is going to be whistled for trying to reach in and getting hit with that personal foul. That's number 6 on the Zips.
Yeah, they're going to say he got him low here, but there's the physicality, and then you see just great touch on the turn. But just a really good job positioning himself before he catches the basketball. So much production for post players happens before they even catch the basketball. It's where are they able to establish position. And Henderson has really done a tremendous job here in the first half of getting into that low block space and then commanding the basketball.
Yeah, he's had a solid first half. Harrison Henderson, who said averages 10.5 points and shade under 5 boards per game for Tony Barbie. And Central Michigan is on top by 1. You know, it's only a half, Jackie, but you know, we've seen it before. These might be one of these nights where, you know, Akron a little bit off center offensively, and they've got to win games on the defensive end of the floor, which we know they have done.
Well, they pulled off the win up at Mount Pleasant, and they did it with just a 60-point performance. So the good one-on-one extension there and block. And keep in mind too, this is happening. See, it's taking them too long at the offensive end of the floor, and give Central Michigan a lot of credit for that, for this defense that Akron's just having to pick apart and try to pick through. But it could all start at this end of the floor by stepping up, getting stops, and then being able to go in transition.
Dylan Juergens along with Ralph Bissath running the offense. Henderson thought about it. Taylor will line up the 3. Castaneda went up and grabbed off the defensive board. Less than 60 seconds left. Akron trying to reclaim the lead again here to finish out the first half. Working against this zone. Ali off the spin. Good move, Ali, but didn't get it up to the rim.
Yeah, just too tentative once he made the move, and it took him too long. He got that one-on-one matchup. He's got to explode with confidence with one objective, and that's to score the basketball.
Bissath hit Healy. Shot clock at 10. Shot clock at 5. Taylor, long range triple. Well, Henderson didn't get blocked out at all. He had an easy offensive board, and now he's getting to the free throw line.
Well, this is a team that plays with great pace, and they're constantly moving at both ends of the floor. You're going to see here on the weak side, it's just too easy. Uncontested, playing the ball off the rim. Oftentimes when there's a long shot attempt, it's that weak side where the ball's going to come off, and Henderson has just been really active and really asserting himself here in this first 20 minutes.
Harrison Henderson. He is a graduate transfer. 6'11" big, and Henderson joined Tony Barbie's program. It's a year to play with the Chips. And they've got this 3-point lead now with just 15 seconds left in the opening half. Let's see what the Zips come up with, trying to find something that they can run effectively here to get this final shot. 5 seconds left. Freeman will head to the hole. Didn't get it to fall. Didn't. Ali, Enrique Freeman, Xavier Castaneda, Michael Dawson, and Greg Tribble. The starting 5 for John Gross. And Central Michigan's going to get their top point producer, Kevin Miller, with the 3 fouls back on the floor. How about Enrique Freeman?
Well, that's the energy, right? Assert yourself at that end of the floor. Good job of jumping out and getting in a passing lane, creating the turnover.
Well, let's see what the Zips get offensively going against this Central Michigan zone that did give them problems in the first half. Tribble had it knocked away from him. Shot clock at 5. Castaneda on the step through. Got that short jumper to fall. Xavier Castaneda has got 14 points to lead everybody.
Well, great pace there at the offensive end. Could have shot the 3. Nice little ball fake. Recognized the time that he had on the shot clock. Gave up a good look to get a great shot.
Well, a strong performance tonight for Xavier Castaneda. Miller gave it up. Yeah, Enrique Freeman thought he had all basketball and got the big time swat away, but Ralph Bissath is going to get to the free throw line as he attacked the bucket.
Well, we're going to get a good look at it here, and not sure there was much contact as Freeman, he loses the plane there, but he made a play on the ball, it looked like. But how about the assertiveness, though? Had a good first half and really did a nice job there at attacking the rim, though, to get his 6th point of the game.
Yeah, Bissath has been very active on the offensive end as you get a good look at this 6'7" senior out of Miami, Florida. Got them both, and the lead is back to 3 again. Central Michigan will stay in that zone. Tribble found Freeman. Great look from Tribble. Freeman with the easy deuce and that strong finish. So the Zips start 2 for 2, Jackie, from the floor offensively here in the second half.
Well, just a better job, right, of looking more deliberate in what they wanted to do.
This is Kevin Miller. Healy's going to fire a 3. Well, Freeman rising high, directed it to Castaneda. Reach-in foul, Brian Taylor, Central Michigan.
Well, Freeman has really brought some energy, and you can tell he's responded to what they talked about at halftime. Much more movement. It's amazing what you can create once you just put in that effort. It'll bring a little bit of energy, and things can start to happen.
Well, we know that that's so much of how the Akron Zips operate. They've won games when they haven't particularly shot the ball well because of the effect of the energy and the way they've grinded things out. Tribble going to get to the free throw line. Jackie, I think during the course of this season, Greg Tribble has, enhanced this part of his game immeasurably. Going to the rim, and it's difficult for him to get denied.
Yeah, and he's getting that one-on-one matchup. We talked about it in the first half. That's by design. Really good action there for John Gross's team with how he had Freeman and Ali on the weak side. They're switching, so you got bodies going with them, and then he's able to just attack his Tribble. Head down, right at the rim. And when he can get guys one-on-one, he's not afraid to be physical, and we know how high he can jump. He's got some springs in his legs. Those are good matchups when he's going lane line extended all the way down and attacking the rim.
Zips by one as Greg Tribble with a couple of connections from the free throw line. Zips coming out further on the floor, too, to get after Kevin Miller. Now that long-range three clanks off that iron. Not able to connect was Bissath. Zips running. Ali's got the bucket off that touchdown pass from Greg Tribble.
Yeah, really good action there, and a nice job by Tribble and Ali doing some rim running, but it all starts with that defensive rebound. Key to the game for Akron was to win the glass. Really good job of limiting Central Michigan's opportunities here so far in this second half.
And John Gross and his associate head coach Dustin Ford into it on the defensive end. A good look at a triple that didn't go down. One and done. Kevin Miller missed that. Zips on the move. Tribble off the crossover. Dawson for three, did not drop. Central Michigan will push with Miller. Didn't get it to fall. Stick back Taylor. Yep, count that, and one coming. Could see that. Central Michigan's been hitting the offensive glass with a purpose tonight. Did right there with Taylor.
Yeah, they've got 3 offensive rebounds now, which is much better than what Akron gave up in the first matchup here, but it's just a matter of securing the basketball. You've got a couple white jerseys down there, but just too much aggressiveness, and a really good job by Taylor to not bat the ball around, but just to go snatch it.
So there's a good look at the 6'6" backcourt performer out of the Motor City of Detroit. And we're all even at 30 again.
You know a little bit about that city.
I do, yeah. A lot of
born and raised
concrete and cement all over my body. And I say that in a good way, Jackie,
yeah.
From the playgrounds.
That's
and what
right.
have you in the Motor
I know
City.
how much you love your hometown.
I do. I really do. Great American city. Tied at 30 apiece. Castaneda firing a long-range three and sticking that for the Zips' Michael Wynn.
Well, Michael, we know how much Wynn can be a factor.
Yeah.
And obviously has found himself in foul trouble. But if he can find a way to stay on the floor, those are the types of opportunities that he's going to be able to provide for Akron. Just that little pick and pop action. Finds a space, and you can see the rotation. Just a really good shooter.
Stolen away by Michael Wynn. Hits the three, and then he works it on the defensive end. Love seeing that. Akron by 3. Tribble. Wynn again. And a good look at 3. Look at Dawson on the offensive glass. Castaneda to raise up. That didn't go. That's
cold at one end for Central Michigan, and then going quickly at the other.
This is Michael Dawson. Dawson with Michael Wynn now. Xavier Castaneda, Ali, and Greg Tribble. Ali off that jab step. When that double comes, shot clock at 5. Tribble's got to get going. Tribble's going to unload that floater. That's right there. Greg Tribble continues his strong offensive game.
Yeah, we talk a lot about college basketball now in the landscape of basketball being layups and threes. And both Castaneda, you see out there with Tribble, just tremendous touch in that 5 to 6 foot range of facing up and scoring.
Bissath going to get the roll.
Nice.
Touched it up, got it to fall.
Yeah, really good release there going over that left shoulder. He's had some success with that here this evening.
Castaneda went to that free throw line to Ali. Ali's going to unload the short jumper, back rimmed it. Ali getting good looks tonight. free throw line in. Paint toward the rim. Taylor. Jumper didn't fall. Big offensive board, though. Flying to the rim was Nicholas Pavretti. And Greg Tribble got hit with a foul on the push.
Well, there's a little energy there at that offensive end. Second chance opportunities again. That was a big component of Central Michigan being able to stay in that basketball game up at Mount Pleasant. And they're trying to cut into this Akron lead now by clawing their way back, by getting more than one look here at this offensive end.
Cameron Healy the inbound for Central Michigan. Zips went after the basketball and Dawson ripped it away. Well, Michael Dawson continues to get a lot of deflections that turn into steals. Clark's going to unload the three. Spun out on him. One and done for Akron at the offensive end. Like to see the Zips starting to attack that rim again, Jackie, like they did first couple buckets to start this second half.
Yeah, you don't want to get too comfortable. You know, obviously you want to play quick and move the basketball, but a couple more rotations before you take that shot from deep, and Wynn making another play here at the defensive end.
Yeah, Wynn following up Michael Dawson's rip away. Castaneda gave it up. Castaneda to attack the hoop, and that should be off the foot of Central Michigan. Castaneda was trying to find a slashing Michael Wynn on that bounce pass. Now Nicholas Pavretti right back on the floor for the Chips. He's going to get joined as well by Dylan Juergens. Well, Central Michigan really trying to manage those three personal fouls on their leader, Kevin Miller, who exits the floor once again. Akron by 3 as we approach the 13-minute mark here in the regular season finale. Castaneda, show and go to the bucket. Put a little bit too much sauce, though, on that reverse. Didn't get it to fall. Well, he got there real well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, did a nice job of attacking and putting himself in a position to get into the interior, but just a little bit too much spin off the glass.
Bissath now with the shot clock at 7. Pavretti will step through, didn't finish it. Neither squad being able to finish strong point blank opportunities. Akron's lead stays at 3. Wynn gave it up. Extra pass to Dawson. Off the spin. Dawson didn't finish it. Garvin Clark the triple and stroked that 3. Go, Akron needed that.
They really did, and it all again comes off those hustle plays. You know, we talk about the turnover discrepancy of points off turnovers. You've got to look at these second chance opportunities as well. That initial defense for both teams has been really good.
Now again, it's looking like the Akron Zips are going to be the 4 or 5 seed, and will play the Buffalo Bulls on Thursday. Miller to raise up, front rimmed it. Akron trying to put some distance between themselves now in Central Michigan. Garvin Clark with Xavier Castaneda, Greg Tribble, Michael Wynn, and Michael Dawson. Very small fivesome for John Gross right now. Wynn thought about it. Now we'll raise up. And a good look at 3.
Really good look there. And that was a ball fake, right? We talked about that earlier. Get that defense that's overcommitting up in the air or moving out of position. So a good ball fake to create an opportunity.
Well, the Zips have really clamped it down, though, defensively, huh? Here in the second half, challenging everything. That line drive jumper isn't going to go from Ralph Bissath, and 1 and done for Central Michigan.
Well, they're just 2 of 10 here in the second half for 7 points. Akron has outscored them by 9 so far. And they've done it a variety of ways, connecting on a few long balls, but also attacking the rim and trying to open up the floor a little bit.
Zips trailed 25-22 at the break, so yeah, 16-7. As Jackie said, that's a +9 for Akron. Tribble had that rejected, as that was sent away by Nicholas Pavretti. And going hard to the rim is Kevin Miller, the leading point producer for Central Michigan. Tribble with a floater in the
about it, but you know, in some ways not real surprised. I mean, these are two teams that played really tight their first time around, and we know Central Michigan is a young team that has played really good on the road and has really competed this season. Yes, they've been on a losing skid, but you know, took Toledo to a 2-point, you know, it was a 2-point loss. Kent State, a 2-point loss. So this is a team that can really get out and compete, and I'm sure John Gross knows that and or knew that coming in, and has prepared his guys for that.
Akron has matched their largest lead of the night, just 6, as Greg Tribble continues to get to the rim and connect that free throws. That left-handed jump hook from Harrison Henderson goes.
He's been a handful, and the more touches they could get him in the inside, things could really start to open up for Central Michigan. He's now 3 of 5 from the floor, leading all Central Michigan scorers. And again, that combination of physical and finesse inside has really been a bright spot for Central Michigan.
Xavier Castaneda, Garvin Clark, Greg Tribble, basically the 3-guard look, although Ali and Enrique Freeman both back on the floor now. Hey, shot clock's at 3. Tribble's got to unload. Gave it up. Ali with that rainbow 3 that crawled across the iron. The basketball belongs to Central Michigan. The Zips fired that basketball in that sequence, Jack, basically when the shot clock was going off.
We talked about a little bit early offense, right? Not necessarily wanting to take the first shot attempt, but, you know, get into that offense with a little bit more rhythm. But Central Michigan forced them to have to really work for 30 seconds.
Well, Henderson's going to get to the free throw line. Enrique Freeman is thought that he had gone straight up, but he got whistled with the contact and the foul.
We're going to get a look at it here. Just physical on the inside, and then
down below.
Yeah, I don't know. He said it was two hands, you know, kind of that forearm. I think he did a good job of staying straight up, but it was tough to tell from that angle if there's displacement, meaning Freeman kind of walked into him to bump him off the line. But either way, he said it on the previous possession. Going into Henderson is a good idea for Central Michigan. They've done it now the last 2 possessions.
Yep, averages 10 a game, 5 boards a game, and knows how to play it. This graduate student knows how to play it on the blocks offensively. So now a quick 4 points in a row from Central Michigan, and Akron's lead back down to 2 again. Having to deal with this zone now that Central Michigan contesting Akron with. Shot clock at 6, not much going on. Well, shot clock at 2. Clark step back 3. Went off the glass and didn't stay in the hole, but
just a lot of dribbling and not going anywhere. You know, you've got to move the basketball. The basketball needs to move and players need to move. And a lot of standing and a lot of dribbling in place right now for the Zips.
Henderson gonna go to the rim. That wave away that hoop as it's a foul on the floor. But Henderson, we just were saying that he has caused issue for the Akron Bigs, trying to keep him contained.
Well, they've given Freeman a break, and now Ali is guarding him. They're going to go zone here, it looks like, in this possession. Nope. But Ali is, you know, a little bit undersized there from a physical standpoint.
Central Michigan, this is a 7-0 run, Jackie Winden, and they have got the lead once again at 41-40.
And really good recognition there by Henderson. They got the ball inside to him, but he was having to post up about 8 feet from the basket, back 2. Defense collapsed, so he makes that extra pass out off the double team. Ali went inside to a diving Michael Wynn for the bucket that puts Akron back on top, and it ends the 7-0 Central Michigan run. Well, speaking of being double teamed, just good recognition by Ali. He always has his eyes up, and then when you've got a guy moving without the basketball, good things can happen.
Henderson going to the free throw line. Played much better toward this tail end of the regular season.
Yeah, when you've got a young team that's competing, and you know, again, when you look at some of the scores and some of the ups and downs, you know, you got a team that's battling, and I have great respect for any team that plays as well on the road as they do, because that's a tough ask and a big ask at the collegiate level. And they've gone into some tough environments, and his team has stayed locked in and are really competing.
All right, a couple of free throw makes for Henderson, and Central Michigan back on top by 1. The Akron Zips trying to win their 21st game of the year in the regular season, and it has not come easy tonight. Once again, the shot clock short. It's at 5. There's that double team. Castaneda's got to fire that foul line. Jay off that front rim. Dawson last touch, and it'll go back to Central Michigan, who's got the lead in the basketball.
Well, a little bit rushed there, but they did recognize the double team and a good cross-court pass. Dawson gave himself an opportunity, but just unable to come down and grab the basketball. And those are the types of possessions that when they sneak away from you, give it, you know, just open the door for Central Michigan to build upon their lead.
Central Michigan's got their point guard leader back on the floor too, Kevin Miller. This talented freshman out of Chicago has been in foul trouble a lot tonight. They lead it by 1. Henderson, right block, step back. Yep, ring that up. Lead back to 3 again now for the Chips.
Well, you think you're doing your job, right, by not letting him play back to the basket and just kind of go over that left shoulder. So what does he do? Face up, shows his touch from the baseline. Now leading all scorers in the game with 17.
Castaneda trying to come off that Ali pick. Dawson, again, that long range 3. Just everything is pretty much deep threes now for the Akron Zips offensively.
And they've connected on just 5 of 20 of them, so 25%. Not a great number, and especially if 50% of your shots are going to come from long range and they're going to be deep and contested. It's an uphill battle.
Miller with a left hand. How pretty was that?
My goodness.
Now, suddenly, Central Michigan, remember, Akron had a 6-point lead.
Initial sit down and defend. That Central Michigan's been able to really assert themselves and be a lot more deliberate in the half court.
John Gross going to go with his veterans here. Freeman lost the basketball. Zips right away. Come out of a timeout and turn it over, and Healy misfired on the 3. Stick back didn't go down. Well, Central Michigan very much the aggressor. Dawson to raise up that line drive 3, and you can book that to get Akron back to within the deuce.
You know, there's so much to be said for shooting and rhythm, and when you're playing up tempo, when you're moving, and you can catch and fire, a lot of good things can happen as opposed to just being stagnant and trying to create opportunities.
Healy stepped through, didn't get it. There's Henderson again. The Zips just cannot get a defensive board, and it costs them dearly. 3 shot attempts for Central Michigan, and Bissath buried a 3.
Yeah, just too tentative, right? Just kind of tapping around at the basketball instead of going up with authority and snatching that thing. Central Michigan doing a tremendous job of being the aggressor and taking advantage of opportunities.
And the lead is 5 again. Ali with that foul line jumper that's pure. Boy, Akron needs to really, you know, start to get efficient on the offensive end. But Jackie, you and I have said it. They're going to win this. It's going to have to be on the defensive end. You can't give up 3 shots. Alito in that first round matchup.
Well, they've earned it. You know, it's been a tough road sledding, but obviously this is a team that came in knowing they were going to have a chance, and you know, are playing fearlessly.
Bissath with that jumper in the paint that's right there. I tell you what, Central Michigan has shot the ball real well over the course of the last 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, they started just 2 of 9 from the floor, but have gone 6 of 10 since.
Yep.
And have really just had answers at the offensive end, and quite frankly gotten any look they've wanted. Yeah,
Freeman will step through and go the hoop. And it looks like we've seen the last couple of Akron possessions being certainly more aggressive in going to the hoop, Jackie, and not holding the basketball while you know, a 30-second shot clock is running down.
Well, it's just a matter of getting the ball inside. The defense has to collapse, right? They've got to make decisions. We've seen them try to double team Freeman. We've seen them try to double team Ali. And once you get the ball moving without the dribble, but on the pass, then you can start to get creative. But guys cannot cannot keep standing. And after a couple timeouts here, John Gross has really got his team doing less with the ball in their hand and more with the ball out of their hands. And that's what you got to do to break down defenses.
4-point game. 3:40 left in it. Hang on, everybody. See if Akron can grab this 21st win of the year and go into the MAC tournament with a win. Off that step back jumper and booked that again, as that's Cam Healy. And wow, they're 7 of 11 now, right, Jackie, since that poor start.
Yeah, really good. And again, they're getting every look that they want and a good job of creating space. Castaneda, who started off so hot from the floor, was 5 of 9 through that early going, has only attempted 4 shots since.
Michael Dawson tried to initiate a cross-court pass. Did not happen for him. And I'll tell you what, if Zips don't get a stop here, this could bump this lead up to 8, maybe to 9, and we're under 3 minutes left. Miller. Zips get a rip away there, and that's a foul on Central Michigan. It's going to go on Ralph Bissath. Team foul wise, that is what, number 6 on the Chips? So one more will get Akron to the free throw line, which they could, quite frankly, use with time running down and trailing by 6.
Well, what a big play by Castaneda. That's huge. Central Michigan got the matchup they wanted. Henderson was pinning Castaneda. That's a mismatch, and really just made a play on the ball and gave himself and his team now an opportunity.
Tough step back jumper, didn't go down. 1 and done. 2.5 minutes left. Central Michigan came in here with a MAC record of tonight as we just 6 and 11, and they are 220 away from springing this upset. Double team on Bissath, and he traveled.
Well, they sent the double team. You know, he had created space last time and hit the jump shot from there. So this time they send Castaneda at him to double team and force him to get rid of the basketball. So a really good decision there by Akron's defensive philosophy, and a good job by John Gross and his team to get the ball out of Henderson's hands. But their issue now is at this offensive end.
Yeah, triple's just not going down. And the Zips are continuing to fire him up. Ali, that would have counted had it gone. He'll get to the free throw line with 1:58 left.
It's the ball fakes and getting that overzealous defense to bite. Really good decision. I thought he was going to find himself in trouble with the one dribble pickup, but then he got himself an opportunity with the ball fake. Defense bites, and now he's headed to the line.
So Akron shooting just 37%. Ali, well, he needed that iron to be kind there, and it was.
Sure did. Just 6 of 11 before that free throw, 54% from the line, whereas Central Michigan 12 of 13. So they've capitalized at the charity stripe, and Ali connects on his first.
Zips do get a chance as Ali ran down his own miss. They trail by 5. 1:50 left. That pass never got to Freeman, and the Zips have turned it over once again. To me, Jackie, they're just trying to make too difficult of passes in traffic.
Yeah, they are. They're telegraphing it. They're looking right at where they want to throw the basketball. That's why I mentioned it earlier. Ball fakes, get that defense to jump, and then some opportunities will be open. But they're telegraphing, looking right at it right now.
Healy gave it up. That long-range 3 didn't go down. Off the mark. Zips down by 5. Got to have a bucket here, and that's going to get him to the free throw line as that foul is going to go on Central Michigan. But these are imperative makes now. 2-possession game, down by 5. There are only 75 seconds left, Jackie.
Well, they're 7 of 13 from the floor. Obviously, Ali missed the second one there, and he gave himself an opportunity. If you're not going to come down with that offensive rebound or a positive possession out of it, then yes, you've got to step up and make free throws.
A Michael Dawson make here on the second after he hit the first could get this back to a 1-possession game. Zips have been down anywhere from 4 to 6 over the course of the last couple of minutes. Dawson has done that. All right, so it's a 1-possession game with 75 seconds left, and the Zips are pressuring the basketball.
no need to foul. Obviously, just a one-possession game. Sit down, defend, try to create the turnover.
Bissath threw it away. Turnover, Central Michigan. Don't need the three here now. By no stretch do you need the three. Ali, heading to the rim. Gonna get to the free throw line. There. You like that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. But look how wide everybody was, right? Defense is spread out. Ali does a really good job. He's probably the best player that you would want. Catching the ball right there at that max symbol where then he can just, again, take guys one-on-one. We said it the first half, and he can catch and score or he can attack, and really good decision there.
Missed the first.
Well, it's been a trouble spot for them all season long, has the free throw line.
Certainly has. As a team, Akron not 70% from the line. Ali splits the pair. 2-point game, one possession game, 59.5 left. Hang on, everybody. Akron trying to win their 5th in a row to finish a regular season to go to the tournament in Cleveland, but it has been anything but easy tonight for the Zips. Touchdown pass being thrown, and how about that? Boy, that was a beautiful touchdown pass from Kevin Miller to Brian Taylor. The lead is 4 again. Zips into the hole. Castaneda got that. Finger rolled it home with one coming.
Well, this is a good answer. You know they were going to have to go quick. Little hesitation, gets by him there, and then you see on the backside the foul. As the ball goes in, chance at a three-point opportunity here.
The answer for the Zips immediately after giving up what could have been just that disastrous touchdown pass, football touchdown pass, for a quick layup. Castaneda to convert the three-point opportunity. This is a one-point game, 56-55. John Gross going to get Garvin Clark on the floor. Zips going to pressure again. They got the steal. Ali stole it. Down by one. Akron with the basketball. 27 left on the shot clock, 43 in the game clock. Hang on now.
Coming out man-to-man.
Tribble. Turn that corner. Got to the rack. Very close to N1ing there for Greg Tribble as well, he came off the left side of the floor, Jackie, and with that big step to the rim.
Yeah, you're going to see Miller just get stuck on this screen and just really nowhere else to go with it. You saw it out of the left side of your screen there too. Basent tried to make a play, but when you've got a shooter in the corner, they're not going to leave him. So just a really good decision by Tribble. Turn in the corner, had real estate in front to attack to get to the rim.
We're tied at 56. Greg Tribble, as we've been telling you for the last over a month, whose game has really started to ascend for John Gross. Now with a chance to put Akron on top. They were down by 6. Got them both. Akron by 1. 32 seconds left, so you got that full shot clock for Central Michigan.
And
Tony Barbie, though, not calling the timeout with his squad, not yet anyway. But they're going to put it in the hands of their outstanding point guard, Kevin Miller. Akron's lead is but 1. Can they get a stop? Bissath. Miller. Threw it away. Tribble got the steal. Greg Tribble playing it on both ends of the floor once again, and it'll go right back to the line for the one-and bonus.
The Akron Zips could not have had a better defensive possession. Rotations were absolutely on point. They double-teamed Henderson to get the ball out of his hands. Miller attacks, and then Tribble on the rotation right in front of Henderson, so there's no attack and dump off pass. Just tremendous job of executing at the defensive end.
Tribble missed the first, leaves the door open certainly for Central Michigan. So a make here would have the Akron lead at a deuce. Tribble's second. He missed them both. Hang on, everybody. 5 seconds left. Miller to the cup. Got rejected. Castaneda. It's over. I don't know.